Hope Channel, changing lives.
Hello and a very good evening to you wherever you hear my voice from. Yes, this is Love at Home. It is time. Time was so. Remember to call in everyone that yes, the family is seated. Let's discuss things bothering the family. And today is another wonderful day because we are going to be discussing family investment. Yes, they said that it is good that you plan for tomorrow. And what actions you put in place today will determine your future. This is why it is so important that we discuss this topic. We've been looking at so many issues, and there are so many portfolios that people can go into. Are there risks at all when you talk about family investment? What should people be on the lookout? What should I not go into, or what should I know? What is investment at all? This and many more we'll be discussing today on our show. I'm Efia Sewa, and this is Love at Home. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, I will introduce you to my guest for the day, and we will start the show. Please remember to call in your friends. Thank you.
Ebenezer. This is how far the Lord God Almighty has brought us. The Precious Hannah Ewu Ministry is 10 years, and the Precious Ewu Choral Ministry is 5 years. Now join us, celebrate the goodness of the Lord.
Hooray! Anniversary concert. Guess what? I'll be in Ghana live this September. By God's grace, Precious Hannah Ewu Music Ministry, maybe 10 years. And Precious Ewu Choral, maybe 5 years. Nyamiadum, we are coming together on Saturday, September 28th, at Medina Central SDA Church at 4 p.m. sharp to praise God for how far He has brought us.
Yes, it's going to be a resounding praise event featuring Joel Edu, Abigail Nkansa, Freedom Choir, Legon SDA Choir, Godi and Friends, Esther Choir, Pencourt, Medina Central, SDA Choir, and Singing Band.
Along with so many other wonderful musicians in Ghana, coming together with one accord so we can praise God and thank Him for how far He has brought these two music ministries. Pastor and Mrs. Ewu will be there, of course, along with some amazing pastors that will come together to support us in our spiritual needs as well. Nyakopon Shra, Silver Shiame, at Medina Central SDA Church on Saturday, September 28th at 4 p.m. sharp. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Remember, the entrance is free, so be there and be blessed. See y'all.
Hello guys, I welcome you all to Gospel 101 TV show. My name is Selassie Evelyn, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this uplifting journey into the heart of gospel music and inspiration. What you made ye yet de ekuko down. Get ready for a television show that will challenge, uplift, and remind you of the incredible power of God. Yesha will boss say, yet the life-changing stories.
We are not going to marry when go to heaven. It is very true. But if we are not careful, our body is heaven.
Good music videos. So tell a friend to tell another friend, say, Gospel 101 Jumedieno has come. It is not just a show, it is going to be an experience.
Gospel 101, showing this and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Hope TV.
Hello, good evening and a blessed day to you wherever you hear my voice from. This is Love at Home. I am Efia Sewa Mansa. We are so delighted when it is Love at Home and we need to visit you in your homes. Yes, today we want to be looking at investment or family investment. Yes, there's a saying that if you plan well, you will succeed. So families must also plan. And to have a better future, you must be able to put in some forms of investment. This and many more we'll be discussing today on our show. And when we come back from the show, from break, I will introduce you to my guest for the day. Please remember to call in your friends. Call in your friends and invite them. Join us on Facebook, on YouTube, and then also join us on WhatsApp line 0559-680066. Thank you. Now, let me introduce you to my guests. Today, I have special personality with me, and I have on my far left, I have a very young and beautiful woman. Yes, Madame Faustina Oteng. She's a veteran banker and an entrepreneur. Auntie Tina, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good. And how was generally the day today?
Stressful. The Lord has kept us.
To God be the glory.
Amen.
But we are glad that you are joining us on our show.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yes, and my next other guest is Mr. Daniel Addo. He's a Committee 12 Church and a financial controller at Welma. Boss.
Madam.
I greet you.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
How are you? Your family?
Yeah, we are blessed.
You are blessed.
Very
God
well.
be the glory.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And to you out there, remember to call in their children. Yes, it is time. Let them know that investment is important. It is not only for the aged or for the adults. They should learn something from now. Call in everyone. Share the link and let's discuss this very important topic. Now, let me start with you, Auntie Faustina. Generally, what is investment and what is the significance of it?
When we talk about investment, I don't want to go into the dictionary or the interpretation of investment, but to the ordinary person, investment is pulling down resources, money or any other into an asset for a period of time so that you gain more wealth.
Okay.
And it's very, very significant because looking at what is happening in our today's world, people who fail to invest find themselves in trouble, especially in the future, because we have various reasons why we should invest. We could invest in our children's education. We could invest in our real estate, where we lay ahead the next. When you go on pension, people have to plan and invest for retirement and a host of things. And so if you don't plan, and looking at the way our currency is dwindling, the value of it is dwindling. If we don't plan and plan well for ourselves and our children, and even for the larger family, it will get to a time realize that we'll be in real trouble.
This is deep, Auntie Faustina. Now, let me come to you, Mr. Addo. Do you share the same view or there's something else you want to add on?
Yeah, I think she has already defined investment in the simplest way. So I want to come from this angle. Whatever that we are doing now, whether we are trading, whether we are monthly salary workers, we are receiving salary, we need to move from trading and saving and even to investment. And so the investment will mean that we want to commit all resources. It can be money, time, and even effort, like Mommy has explained, with the sole purpose of achieving an increase in the future. And so this achievement of increase can be appreciation, can be profits, can be returns that we can get from any investment portfolio that we will engage in. So the essence is so much so that in the era that we are in, looking at the rate of inflation, investment will help us outpace inflation. So you can be working and then keeping your money in the house, which is a form of savings. But are you able to outpace inflation? No, because eventually the purchasing power of this money that you have at home will dwindle. And where do you find yourself? So it is important that we invest. And whilst we invest, we get an increase in value. And when this increase in value is realized, we can achieve our financial goals. We can also have a whole lot of things that we can look into the future and say that we are also worth of. Wow. So for me, investment is very, very
so,
important.
but are there types of investments that are available to us, or kinds of investments that are available to us?
There are various forms, and I believe that Mommy's background from the banking, she will tell us more, but I want to center on few ones that is so simple for people to know. In fact, let's go down. There are a lot of people who are trading. Whatever trading that they are doing, they are investing their money into what they are doing. This money that they are putting in, if you are going for products from the market, product from the farm to get to the market to sell, one, you are trading. You are on the verge of getting to investment. So you trade, you get money, you can invest. And this investment, there are a whole lot of portfolios that you can do. For now, one of the simplest one you can do is treasury bills. The government issues out treasury bills, and then you need to just put your money in. And this money that you just go enter into treasury bills. So it is one of that. And the power of compounding helps us to realize a lot of these values from investment. So T-bills is one of them. Fixed deposit is also one. The bank can pool resources together from customers, and then it has a fixed period. When the period is ended, you are able to get your interest. So these two are investment that we can make. There are also investment that we can make in agriculture. You can have machinery, agricultural machinery for hiring. You can get...
you mean through the value chain, there are other ways you can go about it?
Of course, you can get some of these machinery for hiring, and you can get income from it. So it is one. You can also enter into real estate. Today, the value of land does not depreciate. It has never depreciated. And so when you have land and then you are able to develop it, if you are closer to universities and then other institutions that do rental, you can cash out of this. A lot of people are closer to universities or other tertiary institutions, yet they are unable to cash out. There are so much that you can get from them, because rent is expensive in these areas. So it is important that we see some of these areas of investment and then we can cash in.
Now, Mommy, yes, I want you to add more on that, the kinds and the types of investments that are available for us.
Until recently, the best in the financial market could be bonds. But we can't talk about it now, because
now if you do, we all run away with you.
So because of what has happened, we don't want to go into it. But still, people can go to stocks, shares, equities, and the person will have to go to Ghana Stock Exchange, talk to them, because there are companies, even though we are in economic crisis, there are companies that are viable. That you can also go and invest your money into it. We also look at people who stays around institutions. Look at hostels. He mentioned of them. You don't have to get a huge house to be able to place out something to help students. You can have 1 room, 2 rooms, and we can turn that place to a nice place where you can rent out to these young ones. It could be rented, it's an income, and it's an investment. Besides that, if you have a piece of land in your home, people can start this fish farming. Yes, people can have their backyard poultry, and a whole lot of them. If you are fortunate and you have a land somewhere, you can have this ginger, pepper, and also cultivation. We need to do those ones, like maize. People will have to plant it, or people, if you can't do it, people give their monies to people and they farm for them. So these are some of the things that we can do. And when we come to mining, right, we come to mining, people are also, you don't have to go and do galamsey. That's not what I mean, right? You can look at the prices of gold, diamond, and the rest. And you can decide that I will go there, invest my money, because these ones keep on appreciating.
Yes, on the stock exchange they do.
Exactly. And then we can also talk about hedging. Yeah. Right now, where we start from, we are not going back. Dollar is 16 cedis plus. Last year, where was it? So people who were smart and were reading the financial atmosphere were able to realize that if I have a dollar is being sold for 10 cedis or 12 cedis, the next 6 months, the way it is going, it might double. So people put their money into what? Buying the dollar and or hedging the dollar. And as at now, those who did are reaping, but there are always risks.
That is it.
If you are not fortunate and a government decides to do something, and then these prices start coming down, that means you may lose part of your investment. But we should remember that every investment goes with risk.
A calculated risk.
Yes. Yeah. And so as you think about the gains, whether the capital gains or the wealth or the profit, you also think about the risk. Anything can happen. At the point people were having their shares, maybe 30 cents per share, and something happened during the recession, a share could come down as low as $1. And if you do that, people started collapsing. But then as you think about the positive, you also think about the risk involved in investment.
Okay. Now let's, yes.
Just a quick one.
All
I
right.
think talking about the risk, it is important for us to stress that the fear of not investing is even a risk.
Thank you.
Because when you do not invest, the opportunity cost is so high that inflation will chop off everything. So not investing is even a risk. But then, like Mommy mentioned, risk determines the returns that you will get on your investment. So don't fear to invest. Yes, of course. There is no guarantee that when you face more risk, you will get more returns. But at least, theoretically, it is believed that the higher the risk, the higher the returns. That is why those who went to engage in this Ponzi scheme, at the end of the day, they lost because it was risky for them to do. But a lot of people also cast out from the beginning. So whilst we want to invest, we should not fear the risk, because risk is part of life. Even the very fact that you walk from your work place to home is also a risk. So let us know that investment comes with risk, but the more we are able to face it, the more we are able to realize the returns.
Okay. Now, let's narrow the discussion to family investment. Family investment, I mean, to our topic for the day. What is the meaning?
Yeah, so family investment, the family is a composite of individuals, both the nuclear and then the extended. So when we talk about family investment, we are looking at what the family can look at and engage in, and then have an increase in the future for a period of time. So if you are a family, you need to see how you can pool your resources together so that you will be able to realize the needed returns. What is so difficult for us as Ghanaians is the fact that even in the home, because of mistrust, we are unable to pool our resources together. Husband feels that I cannot let my wife know the amount that I receive. The wife also
yes, other than that, he should be demanding for more.
But it is also known that women are rich because they don't want to open up.
We've been told that we should bring them anything we get in the marriage, we should bring it home.
Course,
but we should spend yours.
Yes, that's the culture that we find
so we need to
and
demystify that conception.
That is the culture that we have found ourselves in. And unfortunately, we have grown through that. And so we've not been able to realize the best out of us as far as the family is concerned. I believe that if you are a family, and you pool your resources together, you are able to venture into investment and it will create wealth for you. Whereby there is separation, How do you pull resources together? If you want to embark on building and the husband is doing it alone or the wife is doing it alone, how do you move ahead? If you want to engage in business, if you want to engage in trading, if you don't pull resources together, how do you do it? So I believe that if the family wants to invest, which is the focus of what we are talking about, we need to have a common understanding that we need to pull resources together.
We need to have a common understanding.
Yes.
All right. Yes, Mommy. Do you want to add something to it? Or he has said it all for you?
Yeah. Thinking about this mistrust is eating up the family, this side of the world.
But why do we need it at all? Why do we need this family investment?
It is important.
Yeah.
Like when we were saying, I even said about investing in the children's future, education, right? Maybe you don't have much, but a lot of people are not able to sponsor their children's education, and brilliant students end up down there, not because they cannot read there, but because the family cannot support. So we need to invest heavily in our children's education. So if we need to do that, therefore we have to pool the resources. It's not the bane of the father alone, neither the mother alone. And this side, when the father will leave everything on the mother, and the woman will be struggling to take care of the children. So we need to, because these children are our future. So if we are talking about family investment, then they are part, and we need to take care of them, pooling all resources to make sure that the children get the adequate education that will cushion them for the future.
Now help us. How do we go about it? Let's look at the methodology, the steps, the process that would help us to get a family investment. How do we go about it?
As we speak, we are talking about Christian families.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Much more Seventh-day Adventist families. Sometimes we might want to ignore the extended ones, but they form a part of it in any way. So the father and the mother and the children needs, if they can understand, come together. This is the family. What can we do to help ourselves? Maybe the family wants to get a car. How do we get it? The family wants to, maybe the next 5 or 10 years, to get a place where we can call our own, so that we will not be renting. How do we get there? So this is the time parents comes together. How much do I earn? What do I do? How much can I put aside? Or we pulling our resources together, how much can we save in a month? Put them in an investment, whether fixed deposit, treasury bill, or any other, the stocks or whatever.
But that should be conscious. Yes, conscious effort.
Conscious effort.
Yes.
Because
not when I feel like.
No. The family will have to come together and then decide. First, they have to sit down and pray about it.
Okay.
Pray about it. And then when you pray about it, then we talk about sitting down, planning, taking the feasibility studies. Where lies our interest? If our interest is like going for corn production, where do we start from? Do we have the land? How much will it cost? The laborers, how much? If we want to do poultry, we are starting from our backyard. How many birds do we need? How much do we have to invest it in? So it's not that I don't have money. Everyone is part of it. So we pull these resources, and let me put it blank, our monies together, and then we decide, okay, for this venture, we need 10,000 Ghana cedis. Okay, how do we get it? If we have to go for loan, the bank loan to come and start this, we need to. Because if we calculate the risk and what we will gain in the future, it is better that we do that. So that the mother is at the market selling. Whatever you get, you also bring it. The father goes to the bank, asks for what? A little loan. Then we can pull the 10,000 together. We start the backyard poultry, and then we plan towards it. But we have to be careful as we are pooling resources as a family. One shouldn't be wiser than the other family members. That you take advantage and then maybe destroy the investment, misuse whatever. Come together, pray about it, ask God to help us. And there should be unity, there should be trust. And the family should come together, one force. And when there is unity, people thrive. When there's disunity, people cannot bear much
So,
fruit.
Mommy, you are saying that the saying that my money is my money, your money is our money, will not work for us when we want to do family investment.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not, we are talking about family, not individuals.
Okay.
So, if I know, when I was working, I knew of a certain gentleman. Every 2 years, he would come for loan. So one day, and I was the loans manager, and I would ask, Papa, why? Why are you always running for loans? Say, Mommy, do you know what we do? I have 3 children, and Nkoye, it's not well with us. So I've planned with my wife. My wife sells yam, foodstuffs, or whatever in the house. So the first loan I took, I gave it to my wife to start the trading business. And the second loan I took, I bought a plot of land, and I've told my wife that all the food we will eat in the house, he has to take care, because the loan I've taken, when the bank takes their portion, I take some for my TNT and the children's school fees. And so you have to take care of the food.
So the responsibilities are shared.
Are shared. And because of that, at the time that I spoke with this man, he has been able to put up a 3-bedroom house, yet to be roofed, whilst the wife is supporting with the household finances.
Okay. So what are some of the beneficial investment options available to families?
I think before we come to that, the way to investment, the methodologies that you were talking about, I think I want to stress on family budgeting.
Okay.
Ideally, individuals should have their budget, and so that will trickle down through to the family one. What we don't do as Ghanaians is the fact that we do not plan at all. And so we don't plan for our finances. If I receive my salary, I am way to go just spending it. And at the end of the day, within 2 weeks, within the month, my money is finished.
Sometimes it gets finished before you even receive it.
And so we need to make sure that we have family budgeting. And family budgeting, what we mean is that you need to put your income on paper with corresponding expenses. The family needs to know what comes in. That is their money.
Yes. Say, and I'm spending no.
Exactly. Yes.
And exactly.
You need to, you, as family, both husband, wife, or even the children, we need to know the amount of money that is coming in. That is our income. We cannot overspend this. And so we need to check our expenses as well. There are 2 expenses that I want to talk about. There are needs and wants. Needs, you can't live without them. When you need electricity, it will not prompt you until your light goes off. When your gas is getting finished, it will not prompt you until it goes off. So these are needs. Where you are sitting, your rent is a need. But your want, you can do away with your want and still survive. And so you need, as a family, to put together what are your needs and wants, so that based on income that is coming in and then your needs, you are able to now bring in how much you can save, and even to move to the extent of which one you can invest. All these things you need to plug in into your budget. You do not receive your money before you start budgeting. You need to budget before your money comes, so that the moment the money comes, they come to just align with what you have done. And so it is very, very important that every family does family budgeting. It is because we don't do this, when we are paid, we are unable to utilize our income. And always we struggle. We go for loans and life becomes so difficult for us. I believe that this slogan of Nkoye, Nkoye, at the end of the day, it all bothers that we don't have money. We do not plan. And not that we don't have money. Money comes to us. But because we are unable to know how to go about them, within a twinkling of an eye, we lose them. And sometimes it becomes a situation whereby we think that people are doing us on quotes. It is because, yes, it is because we do not do family budgeting. And so for me, it is important that we do family budgeting. And whilst we are doing family budgeting, we should also know and assess our level of risk that we can tolerate. Because to get returns from investment, you need to embrace risk. The fact that somebody has engaged in a particular investment doesn't mean that when you also do same, you will benefit. And so we should be careful when people tell us that, oh, this investment is good power, and then eventually we also put all our resources there. We should be careful. We should also assess the level of emergency fund that we can have. Because at the end of the day, pooling all your resources into investment is so risky. We need to know the level that we can contain in terms of emergency fund. And I believe that when we have set this pace, we are good to look at which investments are available. Because when you have done this, then you move to the extent of making sure that you are able to do standing orders to take care of some of these things.
Bills,
because
school fees, and those things.
And all these will go through your family budgeting, your school fees, your emergency expenses. All these things are there within the family budget. And so whilst they are there, I do not think that you do family budget and forget about your case fees.
It's not possible.
We are in the month of paying fees. If you did not plan for, you might go for loan. And going for loan, if you go for loan for consumption, it becomes risky. So I believe that these are some of the things we should look at when we want to, as it were, as family invest. So it's also important.
I want to add something to what he said. We have different categories of income earners.
Yeah.
Some people are middle income earners, people are up there. We have the low ones. And then the person might say maybe you see no, that is not it. So today we are talking about investment. It's important that every family member sees himself or herself part of their investment train.
Sure.
Right. So if you are of the low income group, sit down, ask yourself, what can I do to improve what I have so that I can invest? If you sell ice water during the day, then you come home, you said, oh, I was able to get 10 cedis, 20 cedis. Would it be enough for you to even have extra to invest? No. So what can I do? In the evenings, what can I do? I can be fry yam or kelewele, get a small spot, about 2 hours, do that, right? All these things are some of the things that you do to increase your your earnings, and that will help you to also budget, and that will help you to also invest.
Okay. Well, now we are still looking at the benefits, the beneficial investment options available, the options that are still available to us.
I think we also have mutual fund.
Okay.
Mutual fund normally for those who are working, because mutual fund normally bring it's just like a pool of resources from different investors, and then it is being managed by professional fund managers. And so companies who are privileged to have provident fund, these professional bodies are manning them. Unfortunately, it's not every company that has this provident fund. When you have these provident fund, in addition to the tier 1, tier 2 that we have, you are able to also avoid tax. Tax avoidance is not a crime. Evasion is a crime. And so when all these things come in, they are deducted before you have your taxable income. So it is important that if you are a group of workers and your company is not paying provident fund for you, you as workers can come together, a percentage from your salary be put into a fund, and try and see if the company can also pay a portion from
for it.
Yes, but you can try as workers, and when you are able to do that, you pay into the fund, and the fund managers are also able to have a lot of investment portfolio, invest in this, and then eventually you get return from it. The return is depending on the amount that you have. The percentage is the same, but at the end of the day, the higher your amount, the higher the return that you have.
I think the last time I spoke with these fund managers, one of them was here. He said individuals can also come in.
Yes.
So when you, for example, you save and you get some amount of money, you can bring it to them. They will invest it. Then you will see how your money is growing. So it is not just for the corporate institutions.
So if you are a trader, you are a mechanic, you are a seamstress, whatever. If you want to invest into the fund, you can walk into the institution and they will help you and advise you as to how you can go about it. Don't think that because you are not working in the formal sector, you cannot do these kind of investment. It is available, and the more we go there, they are able to, as it were, educate us and open up for us to know which ones are available, which one fund is there for us. Yeah.
Auntie Tina.
Yes, I also want to encourage families to start savings, no matter how small it might be. You can start the savings in your room, and as it grows, we shouldn't be afraid of the banks. There are so many banks that are viable. So go to the bank, ask them, I want to open a savings account. Whatever amount you've been able to get for a period of maybe a month or 2 months, go and save. As you keep on saving the small amounts, you realize that you'll be building up a capital. At the point you ask for your balance, I have 500, I have 1,000 Ghana cedis. Tell them I want to invest in treasury bill. The normal savings interest rate at the banks, very low.
Yeah.
They are very low. But then the treasury bill gives a higher earnings than the normal savings. So when you are able to save up to about thousands, go to the bank, walk to the funds manager or the whoever is there, say, please, I want to what? Buy treasury bill. I want to buy a fixed deposit. I want to buy these things. Even you can invest in insurance. Insurance is also there. Yeah. People are investing in the insurance, especially the children's education. You can go there and do the insurance so that at the point when you will need to pay school fees, the insurance will have to come in and support in the payment of the school fees. So it is very important that every family cultivates the habit of savings. That is the primary source of pooling resources.
Yeah, you've mentioned some viable ways that families can go into looking at the investment options, and also looking at the family size and the economic power they have. Which other areas or what else do you think we can go into? Because we want to expand the base so that everybody can be accepted, everybody can move along with. Mami has mentioned the fact using of fixed deposits, yes, and the others. Yes. Are there other ways apart from the usual banking ways, or there are other ways we can go into?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of ways that apart from the banking sector that we are talking about. But for me, I think we should always make it a point that savings is good, yes, like Mommy mentioned.
Yes.
But when we have saved, we have to move to the next level. And so when you want to move to the next level, if it is not in financial asset that you want to invest in, there are other areas that you can invest in, like what can you also do to let people benefit from, for which you can get a return. So if you are a taxi driver, it is also an investment that you have. That is what you are using for that. Whilst you use your taxi to work, they receive money all the time. And so using your taxi, you get money. Out of that, you move to the next stage of saving. And then you can now go to the bank to access some of these securities that we have. So it is there. You can also be buying other stuffs and then rent it out for income. That is also an investment. It is a direct investment that you are making. But when you have gotten the money out of it, you have to move to the next stage of investment, because your money has to work for you.
That is it.
One thing we should not forget is that today we have strength. And so even as you are putting in more effort and time, tomorrow you cannot have
that energy to go.
Yes, and so when we talk about investment, we should talk about investment that will let our money work for us.
Whilst we sleep.
Whilst we sleep.
We are praying for that.
Whilst we sleep. So for me, when it comes to investment, I don't want us to dwell on investment that will take
we still have to use our energy.
Our effort.
Yeah.
After we have gotten out of this, we have to let our money work for us. And then having your money work for you, you can have good sleep. So that compounding, will work for you. The interest that you will get, you can roll it over, and then the power of compounding will let you build
Ms.
your
Ado,
wealth.
you've been mentioning compounding.
Yeah.
Please calm down.
Okay.
Break the compounding so that we can appreciate what this compounding is about.
Very well. So
and why we should go into investment.
Okay. So the T-bills and other portfolios that we have already mentioned, when you go into T-bill, the treasury
Hold on
bill,
there. I'm sure my viewers are ready to listen, but let's go for a quick break. Remember, we are discussing family investment. Remember to call in your friends. Join us on the discussion on Facebook, on YouTube, and on our WhatsApp line 0559680066. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Hello friends, and welcome to the second edition of the National Bible Bee Church Edition.
For he was wounded for our transgressions, and he was...
You are right. And this is the second edition. I can't wait to see how this competition turned out. But there are a number of churches who are gathered again to go through this inspiring edition of the National Bible Bee. Usual, I'm your host, Chaplain Elom Edison.
Channel Ghana.
As a small business owner, Mitaisha Business Forum, our Hope Channel, it really helps me with my business.
Don't let your priorities be because obi eye bibinti. Also we share some wide. Why one kasa sawasa. So we jani niya we biani.
Okay.
Obi ani need so that ungo fa problem ma.
In the first place, business. A risk.
Okay.
It's just all about risk. Now, person with business, so now you need you should be a risk taker.
Okay.
I would recommend it to you to Mesresa Usu Beshebi.
Thank you so much for not leaving us. You are welcome back, and we are discussing family investment. Before we left for break, Mr. Ado was trying to explain to what compounding means when it comes to investment. We want to know so that we can jump onto it, so that we can get more money.
Okay, yeah, so I was saying that the power of compounding is that when you have taken the step to invest, there will be an interest or return. There is no need to take the interest and then leave the principal in. You need to roll over your interest together with the principal. And over time, you will notice that your interest plus your principal that you have rolled over, at a point in time, you have a huge amount to live with. So that is the power of compounding.
So, sikana midiko shemu, sikaboten na midiko shemu no. And then fasodie no. Beye ye ruli ye de twaso kwanenim nti memu yedu esen se enka kanene mede misika boten kwa akoshe mu no.
Exactly. Interest in ni say a mature na ye the interest in mawa. When the interest is given to you, like the treasury bill, they have something that they could roll over with interest. Or just roll over. So the roll over with interest, you have taken that, so the bank will add up the discount amount that is given to you to your rollover. So if today you have 5,000 Ghana cedis, when they roll over, the next time you have 6,000, and the next time you have 7,000. But if you don't roll over and you just take leave the principal and then you take the interest, you realize that the value of the money will be going down instead of adding it up. But if you add it, you gain.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ado, please continue.
Yeah, so the power of compounding is what helps us to create wealth. So it is important that we will be disciplined. You know, when you have the ability to have your investment come to you in 90 days or even, you should be disciplined in such a way that whilst these interest and the principal come, you should even plan in such a way that by the time it comes, you also have others to add up. And the moment you add it on, over time, within 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years, you will notice that money that you would have put in a savings only, either in your home or in a savings account that mommy was saying the interest is so low, when you check the power of compounding, you will notice that in so many years. So I believe that the power of compounding is what builds our wealth.
And it also gives us some interest and joy to do more. Eh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it is also important to stress, I made this point, that when we are investing, we should also create emergency fund.
Okay.
It is also important. You don't put all your resources or eggs within one basket. You should create an emergency fund. Experts even tell us that if you are working, you should have an emergency fund that is equivalent to about 3 to 5 times of your salary. How many of us are able to do that? But when we try it over time, you will notice that when today we lose our jobs or the unexpected happens, we have an emergency fund for our health, for our children's school fees, for any accident that will occur to us. So it is also important that we build emergency fund, but we should do it within our strength.
Yes.
You don't overstretch in such a way that you go and put all your resources into an asset that is not liquid. Many of us, we have lands, but today, if we are to call about 40,000 or 50,000, are we able to do it? They are all locked up in the land or building. We need to have assets which are liquid, so that having created your emergency fund and you have your savings, that will give you financial independence.
Mommy, you want to add something?
Well, let's go on.
Okay. Now let's look at which people, who or how or when, where do we go to when it comes to family investment?
We have talked about a lot of them. And if you talk about the treasury bill and the fixed deposit, you have to go to the banks. If you want to talk about invest in insurance, you have to go to the insurance companies. If you want to invest in stocks or shares, you have to go to Ghana Stock Exchange. Or if you want to do other investment promotion, you go to Ghana Investment Promotion Council. They have other things that it can even encourage you to invest in, right? And besides that, it's high time the churches invest in the human capital that we have. In my church, we have about 90% of the young ones being graduates. It is time that the church administration utilizes or uses these young men to build or help the people who are not there. If I say to build the people who are not there, who don't have that knowledge, who have not achieved that height, right? So these young ones, some are bankers, some are engineers, some are doctors, some are nurses, some are what have you. It is high time the church's administration pool this resource, human capital together so that they can help the church members who cannot help themselves. They can be doing this career thing. They can even call for experts to come and periodically talk to them, Sabbath afternoons, all these things, so that they will explain to them what it means, so that if the people are in need, they will know where to go. Sometimes some people, they have the money, they don't even know where to go. So, but the people are in the church, they are afraid to approach them. But it's high time the church pool all this human capital together, these finances together. If there's the need for them to send the people to, courses so that they can come and help the church members, it is time the church does that. we should not only be praying and asking manna to fall, but we also have to be doing these things to help the church members gain financial autonomy. Other than that, it will get to a time people will not come to church because they don't even have money to pay for transportation.
I'm just watching Mommy, the way she's so serious about this whole issue. Anyway,
Mommy is serious about it. You see, the fact is that financial literacy amongst us is so low. A lot of graduates in our midst, a lot of people are ready for marriage, yet the resources are not there. It is because we have not taken time to inculcate these financial literacy as part of our plans. For the quarter, for the year, we don't do this. Apart from the spiritual programs that we have, we need to inculcate these. It is part of us. I can tell you for sure that when we are poor, we cannot worship God well.
It's not possible.
It is not possible. We will become liars. Because when the economic hardships are whipping us, we will be liars. We will come to church, we cannot even contribute. We will be borrowing around, and then most of us
we'll be running away from church
members.
Most of us,
we owe these telecommunications, we are not paying. It is because we do not have the financial independence. So I believe that, as Mommy mentioned, the church should take it upon itself to inculcate these financial education in our people. Experts are there. We should call them to educate the people, and I think that we should swallow our pride also. If you do not have the financial literacy, it is not a
crime not to ask.
It is not a crime. I believe that we should own up, so that whilst there is any seminar, we have to avail ourselves. Whatever book that you have to read around, you have to commit time to do it, and all these things help us.
Another critical thing I want us to look at is the issue of bottlenecks, challenges. Are there challenges in this whole family investment, or it's just rosy?
He said something earlier on. When you talk about investments, you talk about risk.
Yes.
And you cannot do investment without risk. And without risk, there's no gain. So we cannot say it's all rosy. There are a lot of bottlenecks, especially when it comes to family investment. The first one, we are talking about mistrust. I think we have talked about it. If I don't trust my spouse, how do I pull resources together, to be able to do something, right? So the family will have to come together and trust each other. And when I'm trusting you, my friend, make sure you also trust me, and we do what is right. Besides that, there are so many things in the world today that puts a lot of issues, challenges in our way, especially in this thing. Somebody can invest in the bank, like people went to invest in the bonds, and within a short time, they've lost their monies. It's possible. But as much as we have to limit, let's forget about what has happened, and try and limit the challenges to the family balance, right? So when the family sits down, we are planning, we need to ask God to take the center seat of this.
And direct.
And yes, ask God for direction, pray about it, and then let each one of us get committed about whatever we are about to do. The challenges, they are there. They will come from outside, they will come from within. We ourselves can be challenges to ourselves. But then we have to make sure that once we have planned, anticipated that this is what we want to do, we plan and make sure that as much as possible we minimize these things, and that will help each one of us.
Now, please help us. Are there some challenges? How can we mitigate them?
Yeah, I think some of the challenges are also that there are so much diversification, especially those who have a lot of investment. They do a lot of diversification of their portfolios in such a way that they will mitigate the losses. But the truth is that when you do it beyond certain level, you will notice that the gains that you expect
becomes minimal,
or at the end of the day you might lose a lot. So we should be careful the way we do our diversification. We have to make sure that we keep it simple. If you have a lot of portfolios that you want to engage in, you need to assess the risk and see how you can diversify, and that will help you to cash out. There is also too much overflow of information. There are people who do not have the information and so they don't invest. Some people also are having a lot of information that they fear even to take the step of investing. So when you want to invest, you need to keep it simple. Yes, when you get the information, that is okay, but don't be don't make yourself as if you want to get all the information before you can start. When you do so, know that this investment that we are talking about is time bound. There are some people who are holding shares today. They buy or sell out the shares at the wrong time. So we need to be careful that investment is time bound. Money is time. So whilst we have all these bottlenecks around, we need to make sure that we are able to manage it well, so that we are able to minimize the losses, because at the end of the day, investment comes with risk, and risk is the fact that you can lose it. So which ones are you able to lose? If you invest and you lose all the money, are you still able to survive? Because this is also some of the challenges.
Sado, what about the issue of discipline and then prioritization?
Yes, discipline is so much. I mentioned it earlier on that when we are not disciplined, we will start one investment, we will have the return in, and by the time we realize we have used the money and we cannot even
account for it.
So that is why I stressed about the budgeting. The budgeting is so important that when you have even set out your budget into motion, you need to track your expenses. And that is also important, because many of us, we are not disciplined. The moment we see, we want to buy. And so we need to be disciplined in such a way that whatever that we are committing our resources to buy, they will bring value to us. There are a lot of women who have, when you open their wardrobe, you
Stop
see
talking
that
about us.
but that is the easiest example that we can use.
I know, right?
That's the easiest example that we can use. There are a lot of words that you have. I'm not saying that is bad, but at least we need to prioritize what is needed for the family. If we do not prioritize the most important things, which I call the needs, we will end up letting the want override the needs. And any family that has a lot of wants satisfied, there are a lot of wastages. And so we should be careful that once we set our budget in motion, we need to cut out those things that will not help us. We can live with certain things, but if you want to get everything that we want all the time, I can tell you that we can have a lot of investment, but by the end of the day, we will not create wealth. And that is so serious.
Auntie Tina, your final advice to us, please counsel us.
My final advice or counsel is that it is better to start now, better be late than never. If we have not started, we have to start tomorrow. We want to see people running to the banks or running to their churches, leaders, that this is what we want to do. Because looking at the trend, it will get to a time that maybe people that you have been depending always for support might not be there to give you the support. So we have to help ourselves. So planning for the future, executing it, nurturing it, and praying for guidance is a watchword. Every family that stays together, prays together, and plans together, executes together, and make sure that whatever they have done together, they nurture, they grow together, and then tomorrow they will laugh together or they will smile together. So God has given these things into our hands. If we read Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 to 8, about the proverbial ant, right? It says, go to the ant and learn of his ways. Summertime, he lays a lot of prepares a lot of things. But when it comes to rainy season, yes. So that is be the watchword of every family, that we plan for rainy days when it is summer. And the summer can be any time, because the rainy day can be a sickness, it can be a lot of challenges in the family, it can be death, it can be anything. So we have to plan when the sun is shining.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to
Just
read
a minute, please.
Yes, Ecclesiastes 11 verse 6. The Bible says that in the morning sow your seed, and in the evening do not withhold your hand, for you do not know which will prosper, either this or that, or whether both alike will be good. And so what it means is that we have to set out to invest. Investment is also important. As we await our Lord, we need to also prepare for the time that we are living in. Times are becoming hard, and anybody who fails to plan will be left behind. And I believe that as family, when we come together and pool our resources, we are better off as a force than doing it alone. If you are single also, it doesn't mean that you can't do it. Yeah. You need to make sure that you also set your plan in place. And I believe that when we are able to do this, whichever work that we are doing, whatever income that is coming to us, we are able to manage it well, and that will make us have a financial independence. And I believe that we can have a better life to live with.
Thank you so much. All too soon, my time is up. Auntie Fosti, thank you. God bless you. Mr. Ado, God bless you. And you are there. God bless you. But let me leave this with you. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 2 says, invest in 7 ventures. Yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. We are all talking about investment. Yes, our Savior will come again. We need to prepare ourselves. We need to move with our families. We can't go and be stealing and be saying other things whilst we say we are waiting on our Savior Jesus Christ. By so doing, we may not qualify. But you and I, we know that we want to be up there where we will enjoy forever. Same time next week, you come into your homes again with another Love at Home. Continue the discussion in your homes. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.